Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 12, Episode 1 of Tainted Grail Red Death Expansion. We'll be playing the Red Death expansion now. We're just doing a fast forward through the board setup. We'll walk you through some of the initial setup components, the main characters, and then we will jump right into the action in round number 1. If you want to check out Season 1, we played through the entirety of Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. There's a lot of episodes. It's quite a long game, so you can go check that out. We also have paint-through videos for the monsters of Fall of Avalon, the monsters for Red Death, as well as the Monsters of Avalon box set. So we've got all those paint-through videos. We'll do a quick flyover through the setup here. We're going to be adding an additional character, Eiley, to this setup. We had played Fall of Avalon with Bayor and with Maggot, so they're quite experienced. So part of Red Death has how to level up the characters, so we're going to move those in. We've also got the new Red Death Ancient Item cards and special skills, and we'll jump into setup and gameplay. Okay, let's continue the setup of Tainted Grail Red Death. I've got the characters on the board here. We've got 401 in place. We've got Maggot, Bayor, and Eiley here set up. I gotta flip it around the other side. We've also got the Miasma board here ready for setup. We've placed our tiles up here. The encounter cards are ready. Up at the top, I've got the new secret cards, the new skill cards, and the ancient item cards as well. We've already gone through the setup rules sort of as we got here, but I just want to walk you guys through what we've actually done. So first up, I've gone ahead and transferred. I've prepared the decks and cards. We've got the random events from the main box set with a number of random events. We're going to grab some random events from the new set as well, and we'll just shuffle those together. We've got all the item cards from the base game. We've got our new deck set up for the quests, chapter quests. We've got the encounter decks set up. For character setup, I've gone ahead and transferred the characters to fresh sheets from the Tainted Grail Red Death save. The old sheets were. We played Tainted Grail. If you guys go back, you can check out our Tainted Grail gameplay with Bayor and Maggot. I've also transferred their existing weapons, skills, and items that they had. There were some restrictions about what we transferred across, but you can see here Bayor's got Excalibur, the Old Steel Smasher, Fall of Avalon, and Rage, the Coat of Plates, etc. And Maggot has got the Menhir Rights, Distrust, the True Grail. It's got a number of these. And then for Eiley, we've just gone ahead and the rules here, we're adding the third player, and we did not play Eiley last time, but I just thought I'd add her in. And her character setup, we started out with 80 experience. I got her experience. I passed out some skills for her. And she's also gotten a healing extract, a javelin, ornamental armor, a wicker shield, and a feral cat companion. So we'll give her those. I thought I'd also read her backstory, because we've already done Bayor and Maggots in season 1 in the first season. So for season 2, I'll just jump in. My dearest apprentice, and now I regret with little time we have had for your education. I was forced to leave town before I could pass on even a fraction of the knowledge you deserve. Though the fact that you'd rather spend time in the meadows than in the temple certainly did not help. Know this, the sagas of old are true. Our island once belonged to twisted immortal powers. Avalon was not created for humans, but Arthur, the first of the kings, who landed on these shores, subdued this realm inch by inch. He took the Grail from the four dwellers and used it to bring seasons and cycles known from our world to this godless place. We all thought the Menhir in our village was raised to immortalize this, but now the Menhirs go dark. Lord Yavin secretly seeks Camelot, We need your help to seek Camelot before it's too late. If we do not return, that means we failed and the fate of Kunacht falls upon you. Always remember to me, you were the daughter I could never had. Stay safe. Nianti, the priestess of Kunacht. So that's her backstory, just to give you guys a little of that flavor. We also have a backstory card here for Red Death. If we played Fall of Avalon, it says, sailing into the unknown wasn't an easy decision to make. After all, the people of Avalon huddled in a handful of places that remained safe from the weirdness. And by the feet of their depleted menhirs, needed heroes more than ever. Still, you decided another pair of hands, even as capable as yours, couldn't make the difference. Avalon had already fallen. There was nothing you could do about it. Instead, you set your eyes on a different goal, one that could change everything. 600 years have passed since Arthur's flight from the homelands. Surely this time the Red Death became just a distant legend. Who knows? Maybe new cities and kingdoms already flourish on the other side of the ocean. Maybe it's possible to lead humans back to their lands and return Avalon to the Four-Dwellers. There's only one way to find out. No one had sailed the open seas in centuries, so it took you months to build the right ship and find a willing captain with decades of experience traversing the coastal waters. She helped you pick the best, bravest sailors. You also found a navigator, a scholar from Camelot, who devoted his life to the study of the Age of Conquest and Arthur's voyages in Avalon. All that wasn't enough. Soon after Avalon disappeared in the distance, mists rolled in that clung to your ship so tightly you could barely see 10 feet in front of the prow. They only dissipated during storms that rocked the ship and people inside so hard it's a wonder both survived. Then your navigator discovered the stars had moved in the sky, making his charts useless. The rations eventually ran out. Then came the scurvy that caused many sailors to slowly lose their minds, bleeding from toothless gums. Every day or two, a roll call would reveal another missing crew member, and you were never able to discover whether something from the mist was taking them, or if they were simply ending their misery in the cold waves of the sea. There was a mutiny, then a second one. Soon you started to regret your decision to leave Avalon. Lying in your bunk, weak from hunger and sickness, you could barely muster a smile, thinking about how naive you were. When they shouted "Land ho" came from the top of the mast, you barely could move. Certain the lookout is hallucinating. Only when the commotion on the deck grew louder, you walk up and gasp, grasping the rail tightly. Camlin, Arthur's capital, overlooked the massive towers of the original Camelot. The largest city of the homeland looms in the distance, red banners in the buildings. You've arrived. The hardest part of the journey is about to begin. So that's sort of our introduction to Red Death. When we start with when we coming out of the main game. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the Mist-Covered Sea. We'll jump right into the first round here. First, I think I have to put the chapter setting up. So first I'm going to check this out. It says, important, if you haven't read the introduction section at the beginning of the Exploration Journal, do it now. It contains essential information about the setup of the campaign and its unique rules. Prepare the event deck. Find all of parts of Chapter 1 and stack them from 4 bottom to 1. So I've got Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll stack those like that. Put these back here. Next it says, prepare the event deck. Okay, now follow the instructions on the back of this card. It says, Chapter 1 setup back. Build your 4 initial encounter decks. We've got our encounter decks. Now you're ready to play Chapter 1 of the Red Death campaign. Skip the start of the day phase. You begin with during the day phase. Discard this card and reveal the top card of the event deck. Reminder, since you start during the day phase, you should only reveal the event mentioned above. Okay, so we're going to discard this. I guess I'll just put it underneath the pile here. And we're going to grab a random event deck. So let's grab a random event deck. And we get good weather. Your first travel cost 1 less, so we've got good weather. We can put that on the top. So good weather. Okay? And then I believe we can go into reading the first adventure. First off, it says in the introduction that Red Death is an additional campaign for Tainted Grail. It says Miasma card outlines when players... Here's the Miasma card. This is what they're asking us to do. All characters delve deep into the plague ruins of the lost capital of Kamlan. They slowly raise their levels of Miasma. The Miasma card has 3 levels. Low, medium, high. Each one with a slot for a dial and some additional rules. If the dial is 8 in the low, then you're supposed to add more points. Okay, so we can basically just have a dial ready for the Miasma when we play. And I think that's it. I think we can jump into the first round now. So we're going to start out with the Mist-Covered Sea. Okay, I think we first have to read the Chapter 1, Part 1 card. It says, Landfall. Place this card on top of the active quest pile. This is Chapter 1, Part 1. The last weeks aboard your small ship was a horror, hungry, scary, mutiny, despair. You doubted you would ever reach the shore, but now that you're in front of you, it's hard to spark any excitement. Kamlan awaits, a husk ravaged by plague, brimming with horror and secrets. Your first steps are to find a place to get ashore. You start to prepare your meager processions and notice there's not a single food ration left to take. Gain the All Aboard secret card. Okay, so we have the All Aboard secret card to gain. All Aboard secret card, it says, as long as a secret card is revealed, all characters cannot perform any action other than exploration as a single party. Okay, so we've got All Aboard, and it says characters discard all their food, wealth, and magic. Wow, so food, wealth, and magic. Interesting. That is a lot of discard. So we'll put this in the pool here and can get back to it later. That was a lot of discarded stuff. So let's put this on the active pile. The quest is to make landfall, okay? All characters immediately explore location 401. This exploration is free. We got the good weather card as well. Good weather. So let's go ahead. The Mist-Covered Sea. It says, the crooked buildings of the old port emerge from the mist. Half-collapsed piers that once plagued how do countless ships from every known land are now silent and empty. You didn't expect anything else. The stories say that the time the Red Death engulfed the capital, people were fleeing on everything that could float. But as your ship gets closer to the port, you notice long red banners flapping from buildings and a series of stockades lined with sharpened stakes that block every entry. The captain walks up to you and says, a bad place 'tis, where you want to go ashore. So we either make our landing at the old port, sail north along the shore, or sail south along the shore. Let's sail north along the shore. Go to verse 7. Verse 7. Place a guardian die on this location and set it to north. This is our guardian die. We'll set this to north. And first of all, yeah, we're just to show you what we're on. We're on the Mist-Covered Sea, 401. The Mist-Covered Sea. Guardians cannot enter this location. Mist-Covered Sea. We've got the All Aboard card. All Aboard also has the tattered sail, right? Looks pretty cool. Okay. Place a token on the Mist-Covered Sea Attach location 405, the Ramshackle Wharf, to the top edge of location 408. The Ramshackle Wharf and the Old Port 405 and 408. Okay, here's 405. Now this has no... Attach Ramshackle Wharf to the top edge of 408. Okay, I guess we just do that. There's not an arrow there. Can you see? Like, there's no arrow connecting it. And then we'll just put that, I guess we'll just put that like here. Ramshackle Wharf and the Old Port. And then it says, our options are, choose one. Make a landing on the wharf or sail back to the Old Port. So I guess we can sail back south to the Old Port. Or we can, I think we're just going to go to the Ramshackle Wharf. Let's just go to Ramshackle Wharf. We're right here already. Make a land. Parading in front of the dead city fills you with unease. You should probably make your choice soon. Go to verse 5. So verse 5 says, you make landfall in a creaky dinghy. Your oarsman returns the boat to the ship as soon as you step ashore. The captain promised to wait for you and ferry you back on board if you signal him. But considering the hunger and anxiety aboard the vessel, this offer might not stand forever. If there is no guardian die in this location, place all characters on the Old Port. Well, we have a guardian die, so we don't go to the Old Port. If the guardian die at this location shows north, place the characters on the Ramshackle Wharf, location 5. Okay, so I'll move us to the Ramshackle Wharf. Then go to verse 9. Congratulations, you've completed the quest. Really, already? So maybe this is just landing. This is just like the intro. You've completed your quest. Discard the all aboard secret card. Okay, so we're off all aboard. We'll discard that. And we'll gain the fresh blood secret card. Okay, here, fresh blood secret card. It says, there's something wrong with the air of this city, but it doesn't seem to affect you yet. Ignore all effects that raise or lower your miasma. So we'll get this fresh blood secret card out there. Let's give it to Ailey. And take this plastic off the table. And it says, each character gains 1 experience point. And Find and Resolve chapter 1 part 2. So we can sort of discard this one to the bottom, and then chapter 1 part 2. Let's reveal that in the let's resolve this in the next turn. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll get back into season 2 of Tainted Grail Red Death. We've got a bookstore channel. We've got a Patreon out there as well. If you guys want to go check out our other gameplay from Tainted Grail, we did a long Tainted Grail campaign of the original Fall of Avalon. But you can go out to our bookstore link down below. You can check out Artificial Psychoanalysis of Desiring Machines, Alchemy and Anthroposophy in the Dune Saga, our Catu Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence Omnibus. And if you go check out our Patreon, we've got a new book series coming out. It's The Alchemical Courtship in the Dreamy Islands. Volume 1 will be coming out soon. This is Aim Aimless, Aim Vicious. We've also got Volume 2 and 3 in the works. Hope's Home, Hysteria's Heart, Stubborn Devotions, Inventing and Forgiving. These are in Lovecraftian tradition in the Lovecraft Dreamland saga. So go check those out. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in round number 2. Thank you. Bye-bye.